What's up, good people, and welcome back to my channel where we bond over our favorite TV shows, trending topics, and everything in between that we care about. So today, one of the things that, we got no choice but to care about is exposing a social media predator who's actively taking advantage of his blind and ill-informed followers. So recently, Freddie O posted on his Instagram, hashtag Darius Cooks, with a post that he titled, hashtag Kitchen Wars. Kitchenista and Aram calls out fellow cook Darius Cooks on fraud and theft on ASAP, another Sean Allen podcast. So I wanted to post this because something very interesting came out of Freddie O posting this on his Instagram, where once again, a new article shakes out another survivor of Darius Cooks. So let's get into it. And one of the first few comments was actually from Reynolds, who is known as the ex-husband of Star Jones. And Reynolds posted, at Kitchenista, I listened to the episode. So sorry this happened to you. Then he posted, and this is the interesting part, he says, he got my sister too.
Wait a minute. Wow. Ooh.
To which the Kitchenista responded, no, did she confront him? Reynolds then says, she did, and he blocked her, which is a pattern that is a broken record. Like, anybody knows, anyone who's been through it, or those of us who've seen it play out time and time again, when someone approaches him and tries to get a refund and comments anywhere because he's ignoring their email, so if they comment on his social media, what he will do is then block them. So he basically cuts off any access to communicate with him to, in fact, get compensated properly or refunded properly. So let's see what other people have to say about Darius Cooks and his crimes, schemes, thievery, and doxing. So we have one of the first people. Well, here's I guess, a D wife, and she says, he said you lying. Of course he's gonna say the person is lying. Another person then says, Darius is online claiming your sister is lying. Basically, he said I got her sister what that? I got her where? Okay, that's some typo. But basically, trying to say your sister is lying, which of course I don't believe. We know Darius is a liar and a scammer. Many of us do. There are many people who still don't, unfortunately. And so they're getting scammed. Like, we're adding new victims weekly because people aren't believing all that's out here. And so another person says, he did the same thing to my sister. When I confronted him, he blocked me. So here's a different person. This is not Reynolds. This is another person talking about their sister who also got scammed by the crook that is known as Darius Cooks. Then we have another person says, child, all these folks out here calling him out, and you say Al's sister is lying? Of course he's gonna say that. What reason does she have to lie when he has a history of doing this to black women? Y'all get on my nerves. I'm kind of beyond that. They don't get on my nerves no more. I'm just reporting. I'm commentating and reporting the news, putting the facts out there, and it's up to them to do with it what they choose. Next comment is, Darius has been scamming for a long time. He runs from one scam to the next and blocks anyone that calls out the BS. Then after blocking, he asks, where are the victims? Check your block list, sir. Now that's funny. Exactly. Check your block list, sir. I mean, but you got to look at stuff like this. He's a scammer. He's, a sociopath. I'm not a doctor, but all the proof is obviously there. But he puts out a narrative that is contradictory to facts, and he repeats it. So it's almost like hypnotizing people. So his followers who think, he's telling the truth anyway, if he repeats it enough, where are the victims? Where are the victims? As they still keep coming out almost daily, the people aren't paying attention to it because he's disqualifying it. Like, they're seeing victims, they're hearing new voices, but because he's saying, where are the victims? They're like, there aren't any victims because he's saying we're the victims. And so it's basically, it's a psychological game that he's playing with them. When this is all over, when it's said and done, when he faces true consequences, federal prison and all of that stuff, some of them, and it's going to be kind of sad, some of them are going to realize how bamboozled that they have become because he has become skilled with playing psychological games with his followers, his core group at least. So who's next? Let's see. This person says his little fans be doing the most on his page too. Ridiculous. True. It's sad. It's ridiculous, but it's also very sad. But some of the people are so hateful that I'm like, I don't really even feel sorry for you because you're a miserable, hateful person for some of the stuff that they do and say, especially when people have been victimized, that they have no compassion. So in some ways, some of them might be sociopaths too. Probably why they get, probably why they get along. Sleeping dogs lay together, lie down with dogs, wake up with fleas, right? Anyway, so the next one is, I just read some of the comments on his page. These women are trifling. Well, I just said that in my own way. Women should be sticking together. They're trolling people too. Fix it, father. And another person says, right, shameful. The least they can do is a little research, but they blindly follow him and applaud his antics. That's true too. And it's sad. It's sad that they applaud his doxing and victimizing people. When people don't get products, he makes up excuses like, oh, you must have gave me your wrong address, or I did reply to your email, or whatever. And then they take his word over multiple people saying, hundreds of people saying that they're not getting their products and all of these things. And they attack them with nothing but his word against that person. And hundreds of others. It's baffling to me, but so this person says, well, at least Darius defend himself in the matter. I didn't know all this was happening. And then a shocked emoji. Okay, where have you been? Are you new to him? Are you new to, I mean, because there was like articles from Black Enterprise, Ford Magazine, Southern Grit. Yeah, a lot of other coverage as well. Like, it's a lot out here now. But anyway, the next person responds, what's to defend though? How do you defend doxing black women and scamming your customers? How does he defend the complaints against him? By lying. That's how. He lies. And if it's true, he kind of, I mean, well, it's all true, but if it's blatant and it's harder for him to defend it, he just kind of ignores it. Or he'll talk about the person or dox them. He doxes. I mean, attempted to dox me. So the next comment is, defend all those receipts. He only denies. Correct. He only denies and doxes. So he'll only say, oh, they're jealous of me. Like, if you listen to his reasoning, it's always the same, no matter what the proof or receipt is, which means he's not able to defend himself. That ain't gonna work in court for him. Okay, so this person is responding to Reynolds, and they say, he hides behind the block feature. It's how he is still slithering around. He counts on people moving on. He doxed me and my family days ago. He got the right ones this time. Yes. So that's part of the problem too for him, for Darius Cooks, is the fact that Darius Crooks, Darius T. Williams, whatever you want to call him. That's part of the problem for him, is that you can't keep victimizing people and people who have platforms, have status, etc., have, education. At a certain point, it starts to pile up and mount up. And that's what's occurring now. I'm sure he has, close to thousands of victims. I'm sure by now, because he's been doing this for scamming for over a decade. So you can't keep scamming people and not expect that pile of crap that you've been shoveling for years not to eventually start to stink. And that's what's happening now with everyone banding together and coming out. And I think he thought it had died down after last summer, but it was just a lot of background work being done. So let's see what's next. Next comment is, I'm so happy to see you have posted this. Darius is messy, lives for drama, and loves to bully women. Enough. Come on now, everybody. Come on now. Everybody is lying on him and everybody is jealous. Everybody? Black women are always unprotected. More attention needs to be brought to this. He is online 10 times a day bragging that he's unstoppable, which I did a little trailer for that. If you haven't seen it yet, I'll link it above. So yeah, he feels empowered because he has gotten away with so much over so many years. He does feel like he's unstoppable. The truth is, we all know that's not true. And so he's become emboldened that he feels that he can get online and dox people and do threatening things and say he has people's social security number. Like, if you're an innocent person and none of it is true, would you go through all of that? Like, because your goodness and your good work would speak for itself. There would be no room for hateration to take over your brand. The reason that all of this speaking out is taking over his brand is because it's true. It's a reflection of what's actually occurring. But what's done in the dark will come to light. It's karma. It's principle. Like, it's a law of attraction. You do bad, bad comes back to you. You do good, good comes back to you. He's been doing bad, bad is coming back to him, regardless of what his blind followers think. So next comment is, I unfollowed him after he laid off his entire staff via Instagram. And then when the staff showed up to work after he made his announcement, some of the staff was taking the rest of the alcohol from the bar, and he said he's gonna take it out of their last check. Lord, I was just done with him after that. He's a messy queen. And another person says, I did the same thing. He was trifling for that. And there are some conflicting stories about that. When he closed one of the restaurants, I forgot which one. Well, he closed them all at the same time. So when he closed one of the Atlanta restaurants, the staff got some of the alcohol. And from what they were saying was that he told them to take the alcohol, almost as a severance package of sorts. Take the alcohol, like, I'm sorry about this. Y'all gonna get y'all last checks. Also, feel free to take the alcohol if you want it as a, severance. And so that's what they did. But then when they did that, he then set them up in a way so that he could go on his IG lives, show a video of them taking the liquor, and then claim that they were stealing it instead. What he didn't also say is that he hasn't paid many of those people as well, and the Department of Labor paid them. So many, smoke and mirror. Smoke and mirror. Okay, so the next person says, he got these aunties in a chokehold. I agree with that. They have convinced themselves it's okay for him as a public figure to post people's children. True. They defend, he defends his lies and deceit and everything, and they defend it as well. They ignore all the evidence. Okay, so another person is saying, I want to believe that Kev on Stage and Big Irish J regret giving this man a platform because now they're connected to him in a worse way. So what this comment is about is Kev on Stage. He had a video series called Ask a Millionaire, I think it was called. And so Darius was on there as a millionaire and basically bragged about how he became self-made. He also bragged about how he built his brand on drama. Literally, he said that, like, to build engagement, that he basically created drama because he said that if he just posted food pictures all day, he wouldn't have the engagement that he has.
Ask a Blank Guy, and today we have a very special guest, Darius Cooks. He has your email signature, their stuff.
Yeah, the minute you buy anything from me, I know exactly where you are, whether it's on a cell phone, what part of the world you're in, whatever the case may be.
So you get that money, but then you post it, and you're gonna make more money off of that.
Yeah, well, people like it.
Scumbags or weasels,
They love the engage. So people like it. They like the clapbacks. They do. I do that every once in a while. They like it. But I also think what's important is that you gotta, if you just post it just like normal, regular content all day long, people will be like, okay, this is so vanilla. But when you flavor it up a little bit, people go, okay, I'm into it. So I do it for the engagement.
That shows you. I mean, he admitted to the fact that he's a messy queen. Like, he admitted it. But anyway, what Kev on Stage did not know at that time is, for one, Darius is a scammer and a liar, but he also did not know that Darius had also scammed his wife's best friend, who is Stovetop Kisses, who's also a social media influencer. And he scammed her out of her Cinetreats business when she was a budding social media influencer, before she got as big as she is now. So once Kev found out, he then denounced Darius, because he was kind of cool with Darius as well, like as a fellow social media influencer, and they texting and sharing, you know, war stories and giving advice, etc. And once Kev on Stage found out who Darius Cooks really was, he got on his social media platform to denounce him.
Y'all, it's your boy Kev on Stage. I want to address the Darius Cooks allegations. Like most of Twitter, I found out about Darius's allegations a couple weeks ago when the Kitchenista posted receipts and screenshots, and, you know, people started speaking out and things like that. She asked me if I was going to do a follow-up interview to a show I did called Aska, where we asked him, a millionaire, about, you know, how he became a millionaire. And I told her there would be no follow-up interview. The show was aired in early 2019, April 2019. And I immediately removed the video as to not amplify his voice or cause any further confusion. At the same time, a close friend of ours, Danny Rose, who hadn't really told us about her fallout with him, kind of told us, hey, man, here's what he did to me, and asked that we didn't kind of speak about it anymore, because as these allegations were coming up, she was having to relive her own situations with him, and she didn't really want to do that. So to be good friends to her, I stopped responding, and I didn't say anything else. I now realize that that silence and not making a formal disavowing of him looks like I was protecting him. So I want to say clearly, I do not support Darius Cooks. I believed the stuff he said, like most people. At the time of the Ask a Millionaire interview, I, saw his Shopify screenshots. I saw his Dining with Darius stuff. I saw the amount of money that he was posting, and I believed him. I didn't do any due diligence when I did Ask a Millionaire. He said he was a millionaire. He had posted receipts. I believed it. And that is my fault for having a big platform. I understand more now than ever that with this big platform, I need to be more responsible with how I share it and who I share it with. And for claims like that, in situations that can come up later, I should have done more diligence and more research to make sure those claims were credible. And I did not do that, and I apologize. I also realized by not making it very clear, while trying to protect my friend Danny, while not making it very clear that I don't support him, it looks like I'm being silent about the scenario. I am still learning how to be an ally, how to protect Black women, what that looks like.
So there's that. Next comment. OS, I be reading the complaints from customers in his comments saying he scammed them and baby, he'll go off on them. I knew everyone wasn't lying. I don't like him because he thinks egg. Then they go on to say, I don't like him because he thinks eggs don't go in mac and cheese. Laughing out loud. Yeah, I've heard that too. The eggs don't go in mac and cheese. He doesn't believe that. But I swear, I know for a fact that he used to make them with eggs, because the recipe that I still use to this day is a recipe based foundationally on how he himself taught me how to make mac and cheese well over a decade ago. So he used to use eggs. I don't know what his, hate for eggs came from. But it's true. The other part of that, more importantly, is the fact of this person confirming that people do complain on his lives, and they make many comments. There's tons of evidence on that. But what he does is then blocks them. And so you don't see him no more. And so it's his way of quieting the noise, because honestly, if he didn't block these people, it would literally, the complaints and the people asking for their refunds and things of that nature would take over the comments of his live. There is no doubt that it would be more of those than the people who are actually following him, waiting on him to go live so that they could have something to do with their lives. It would definitely outnumber those people at this point. Okay, so what's next? Who's next? Who's next? The next person says, we are all waiting to see what happens with the Dallas dining event cancellation. See if those 40 or so people get their money back. And then the next person says, already ducking and dodging, blocking them. And then another person says, ship's sinking. So yeah, I have started to see as well people commenting, a couple people commenting that they have not gotten their refunds from the Dallas event that was canceled. There's a story on that as well. What was it, like 3 weeks ago? He had a illegal dining with Darius event at an Airbnb home in Dallas. He was trying to run commercial appliances in someone's residence, in a residential home. It blew out the circuits. He pulled out their refrigerator and their dishwasher and then called them, complained about the electricity. They wanted to send an electrician. He wouldn't allow them in because he didn't want them to see he was doing this illegal event with all, then took down their house and rented tables and chairs and stuff. So long story short, the owners called the police and they wanted him removed immediately. So they gave him 90 minutes to leave. I think it was day 2, maybe, of his 3-day event or something. And so he ended up having to cancel on those people, on those DWIs that had purchased those tickets. And so now the question had become when or if he would ever return and refund their money. We already know how that was going to go. And so we're seeing people commenting here or there. They pop up randomly on his social media pages, etc., where people are asking for their Dallas refunds. So as usual, he'll say he's refunding. He gives this whole great customer service speech because, he's gifted in that way. And in reality, that's not occurring. But all he has to do is say whatever he says, and the DWIs believe it. So, and in reality, you have people mounting. Okay, so who's next, actually? Okay, this person says, Darius went after Sunny Anderson and Stovetop Kisses. Shaking my head. I'm going to clean that up a little bit. Well, that's true. That is true. I was going to say he didn't really go after Stovetop Kisses, but the truth is he did. After he stole her Centretreats business from her while she was taking care of her dying father as a single mother. She had went home, take care of her dying father. He passed away. She comes back and Darius has stole her business. So they had a bit of a falling out and she was kind of trying to recoup or whatever. And he then tried to dog her in public to make what he did okay, or to his DWIs. And, some of them, many of them, I would say, bought into his side of the story and cheerleaded him scamming a single black woman while she was taking care of her dying father. That's what he does. That's, again, some of those people, some of those DWIs are just not really good people. They're just not. So I guess in that way, you could define it as him going after her. There are many, many, many other people that he's gone after of, but this person is specifically commenting on Sunny Anderson and Stovetop Kisses. And we know Sunny Anderson was the person who gave him his first exposure on a public level. And she regrets that to this day. She said it multiple times herself, that she regrets giving him a platform because that's what enabled him to grow the way that he has. And he's done nothing but evil with it. So, but this other person then responds, wait, really? I swear he does the most. Those ladies don't bother nobody. That's true. And then another person says, I Googled it one day when I saw at Kitchenista's story. It's all there. Shaking my head. He's problematic. He just posted someone's personal information like 3 weeks ago. Okay, that was one person. He posts people's personal information probably monthly at least. Okay, next comment. Yep, I remember he took the whole Centretreats idea from Stovetop Kisses. Here's another person. They're backing up what I'm saying. There's like other evidence of it as well. But it's a known fact by those who have known of him for any length of time. Who've known of him and who want to pay attention to the truth. And then another person says, no, I love them. What the F? I hope they let his ass have it. And then the Kitchenista joins in and she says, he's docked 7 people last week it has been getting worse. There you go. So I didn't even realize that was there, but she said 7 people last week. So, and this was this whole post is actually about a week or 2 old as of the time that I'm recording this video. So that was a couple weeks now that he's already doxed 7 people, 7 more people than the list that was before that. So who's next? We got, he makes no sense. Everything he touches goes under, from his so-called restaurant, book tours, cookbook releases, every damn thing. Truth to that, truth. And that's kind of how you know that, you know, he's a scammer and the Ponzi schemes, because once one business goes down, he jumps to the next. Sometimes he's jumping to the next while one business is running, and then it flounders because he's taking his attention off of it. Right now, that's he's dealing with the Dining with Darius events. So that means that his whole cookware line and cookbook and all of those products that get shipped out, that stuff isn't happening. And so you're starting to see more and more people commenting, where's my shipment? I've been waiting, 3 months. I've been waiting 2 months. I haven't gotten my cookbook. I haven't gotten my skillet, all of these things. So he's collected these people's money and is not delivering their goods. And so as time is going on and there's, I guess, nothing happening in the warehouse, the truth is he has to control every business and not really have a staff and management team that runs these particular ventures, because they're scams. And so he can't put people in charge, because those people would then have access to know that at their foundation, all of these things are Ponzi schemes. So he has to control them, and that's why he can only concentrate on one at a time. He's traveling the country a couple times a week. How is he going to truly manage a warehouse in Atlanta? So the next comment is, they think he just has several forms of income and always is coming up with something new. And his other person says, don't forget the pound cakes. Yeah, the pound cake company, which is, defunct. And it took him months to even, I think he finally admitted that he closed it. Well, he finally admitted that it was closed, and he claimed that he closed it because he wanted to concentrate on other things. But the truth is that the state of Georgia closed it because it was illegal. He wasn't getting any health and sanitation inspections. So his lead baker, who actually had quit, coined the place the Trap Bakery, because that's what it was. It was a legal underground bakery, and that's why people were getting spoiled moldy cakes where, they just weren't any good. They weren't wrapped properly, all kind of stuff, and not getting them at all either. So there's that. So what's next? Oh, and this person goes on to say, don't forget the illegal Carolina Pound Cake Kitchen that was closed down by the health department. He's a sociopath. Oh, this person agrees with me. He is a sociopath. I would say he fits the definition of it for sure. So then this person says, he do the most. I follow him on Facebook, but he appeared to give me phony vibes. Then showing his private area through his boxers, like I thought this was a cooking page, not porn. I stopped looking at his page. So yes, he, again though, this points to exactly what I was saying, where for him, this is not, it's really not about food at all. It's the Ponzi schemes and, all of the dramatics and being a messy queen. That's what this whole platform is really built on. The food is a cover. It's almost like money laundering. You know how like a drug dealer might open up a laundromat or a beauty shop or something, and the whole purpose is they might not even really have customers. The whole purpose is funneling illegal money through the legitimate business. The whole the whole Darius Cooks thing is supposed to be the legitimate business that's laundering all of the bad money that's, coming from the Ponzi schemes and all of the illegal activities. There's a whole thing about that too. Like those things will come out later, once the feds kick in with what they're working on. But so this the whole purpose of me saying that is this person talking about him, you know, exposing himself, taking pictures in his underwear with, you know, fake bulges and all of that stuff. That's for him to drum up interaction and engagement. It has nothing to do with food, and it ain't supposed to have nothing to do with food. He does all of that for attention and to expand his brand. Not that anyone wants to really see that. Okay, so the next person says, he has gone into great detail on at least 3 occasions detailing his entire process for preparing for sex. True, I've caught one of those lives, and he's been doing it for years, but I definitely have caught one myself. And then it goes on to say, I wish one of those aunties would come over here and say I'm lying. Or are you one of his fans saying I'm lying? And that's true. I have watched his IG lives where he goes into detail about, you know, how he prepares himself for sex. Again, has nothing to do with food. But I think in part he does some of that too, because some of those women are truly in love with him. Some of them think that they can convert him if they can just get their hands on him. So he's playing into that as well, especially with, like, you know, posting the photos, you know, half dressed and all of that. So he knows what he's doing. It's about, again, engagement. It has nothing to do with food. Okay, so this next person says, he'll just deflect and claim all the women speaking out were attracted to him or jealous of his success. I was basically just saying this. Some of these, his current D-wives are attracted to him. I can't wait for him to go to jail or be found guilty of everything he's being sued for. Maybe then his followers will admit everyone wasn't lying on him. I wouldn't hold my breath for that, because some of these people are going to go down with him in the sense of I truly believe that when he ends up in jail, or, you know, whatever he does when this all falls down, but let's just go with the in jail. So when he ends up in jail, these are going to be the women who are putting money on his books. These are going to be the women who are, you know, driving and flying hours to go see him and you know, visit him. And I truly, truly believe that. These women have, some of them, most of them, have made him their virtual boyfriend, virtual husband. So many of them are going to ride to the end. And even when it all falls down, they're going to make excuses for him like they do now. So the next person says, I'm glad you posted this, Freddie O, as there are so many more that live in Atlanta that have forums to speak on this and won't. And that's true too. I think in the beginning I was a little disheartened by that. Now I'm like, you know, it is what it is, and I get it to a degree. Atlanta has become Darius Cooks' base. And therefore, in that, and he's been there, you know, I don't know, some years, at least, I don't know, over 5 years or so. And so, or close to a decade, I guess. But with that, he has established relationships before all of this really became big and he was really starting to be exposed on a mainstream level. He established these relationships with a lot of the influencers that are also there. And so they became friends. So now it's like all of this stuff is coming out about their friend and they feel conflicted. Even if they believe it, they are kind of hush-hush. So Michelle Brown, who some of you may know as ATLian, she actually covered the Black Enterprise article on Darius Cooks, like when it was really starting to get some national attention. And even her, being his friend, was stepping lightly. Like, I think she believed it because she said that she was hearing things even before it became press worthy, so to speak, or before the press picked it up. And she was just covering. She was just reading the article and, you know, making jokes and stuff, but she wouldn't really go in. And so there are other people that are involved as well, or friends with him, friendly. And so they're doing the same thing. So I don't know. It is what it is. I do believe when it all goes down, everyone's going to want to join the bandwagon and, you know, hop on the media attention. And, you know, it is what it is. It's, you know, social media, this stuff is fake. People are fake and phony. People are out for self, personal gain. People don't want to burn bridges, you know, because for those who are being quiet, who think he might get out of this and I might need him, or I don't know. It's all of that. It's very layered. So I'm not tripping on that as much anymore. I'm just like, although they won't speak out, there are tons of others who will. There are other people picking it up. I'm going to do another story on Roland Martin, who is starting to pay attention to this. So stay tuned for that video. Okay, so next is, I'm glad this is going somewhere. Hopefully it goes to the right channels. Protect black women. So, like I said, right channels. Hopefully Roland Martin will take this further, and we'll see how that goes. So this person, probably a D-wife, says, protect y'all selves, wanting everyone to save you but God. So then the reply was, you must be new here. Because of that, I will spare you. This is a thread full of people who have been following this dude's abuse. If you knew that, you wouldn't be here trying to get smart. True, because this is black women protecting themselves. Unfortunately, it's hard because it's not a lot of people who listen to black women. That's what I've learned through this whole saga. So yeah, it's not that black women aren't protecting themselves and speaking out. I mean, there are some who are freely victimizing themselves and throwing themselves into the lion's den as far as being a Darius Cooks follower. But there are the other women who are speaking out, who have been used and scammed by him. They're speaking out, as well as women who just care about other women and humanity who were not his victims, but they care about other humans. And so they're joining the fight and speaking out and, you know, sounding the alarm, like, let's get this predator out of here, basically. So the next comment is, Darius Cooks, you have some explaining to do. Every other week, it's something bad. True. It's true. Like, it's just true. But he explains his way by lying. That's what he's decided to do. It's almost like Jussie Smollett. Like, many of us know he's guilty as I don't know what. And to the end, to his sentencing even, he is pleading his innocence. And there's a ton of evidence. And so I believe he has some similar traits to Darius Cooks. I'm not a psychiatrist, so I don't want to diagnose him. But I saw some similarities in that. Like, if a person is that mentally challenged in ways or touched, I guess in some ways maybe it becomes their reality. But I'm not 100% sure. Some of it, though, I truly do believe in Darius's mind, he has made up that he's a good person. Like, sometimes I think that's the case, but I could be wrong. And then this person says, well, at least Darius Cooks defends himself in the matter. I didn't know all this was happening. My question to that is, where the hell have you been? But again, it's always, you know, these D-wives stepping in and they're trying to defend. Like, just because you defend yourself don't make you innocent. Like, duh. But any excuse that they can make for him to justify it, you know, they're down with it. Because they don't want to admit that they're following and in love with a predator and a scammer. So, and then lastly, we have this comment. Darius Cooks is a disgrace to our community. I'm shocked that so many women continue to support this pot meat. Yeah, like I said, this whole situation for me has been an awakening in human behavior and also social media and how the psychological part of it, how people get so invested in people they don't know because they put out a persona and an image, and because he posts as much as he does, you know, with the multiple IG lives, you know, 3 times plus a day, they feel like they are part of his life. The truth is, he's doing, you know, an hour here, hour there. So that's 3 hours of 24 hours. Anybody can kind of act a certain way for that long. Many of us at work, we act a different way than we act at home. For him, the whole Darius Cooks, I'm so used to saying that, but the whole Darius Cooks empire is a job. Therefore, he is performing as he would at work. For him, that's this whole persona. After work, which is the whole other 21 hours or 20 hours of the day, he's being himself. I know that person. You guys don't know that person. I don't know. For me, it's the ABCs and 1, 2, 3s of life. pretty basic. Of course, you can't know someone just based on what they're giving you on a camera. But, you know, these people they want him to be whatever they envision. And, you know, I don't know. It is what it is. But I wanted to share that. So as we see, here's yet, well, there were other people. I was going to say here's yet another survivor as in singular, but there were multiple survivors that even in the comments, there were other survivors of his. But I was going to say Al Reynolds' sister was, you know, a survivor of Darius Cooks and who's joined the ranks with the rest of us. And so I don't know. I just wanted to put it out here because I felt like for me, this was interesting because I'm like, at this point, Darius Cooks has scammed so many people that it's starting to reach relatives of celebrities. So I guess, you know, as this goes on, we'll start to see more notable people who will start to be connected to this in some way and start to speak out. You know, maybe I'll be able to get a list together. I've been working on a list, so we'll see how all of that goes. But I just wanted to point that out because I'm like, dang, Al Reynolds, even the ex-husband of Star Jones, has a relative who was scammed by Darius Cooks. You know, Darius's response, as usual, is they lying. So is Al Reynolds jealous of you? Is his sister jealous of you? Foolishness. Foolishness. So anyway, with that brings this video to an end. If you have gotten to this point in the video, you know, please show your appreciation by giving this video a like, because that helps me grow. Also, if you're not a subscriber, this will be a great time to subscribe. There'll be more of this, much more of this, because this is not even the Surviving Darius Cooks Season 2 stuff. This is side stuff. This is just commentary. We got some more stuff coming out that gives more background into the whole Surviving Darius Cooks saga that we are all watching unfold. So with that, until next time, until I upload the next video, make sure to take care and be blessed. Peace.